This is the One Piece Podcast, episode 555 for the week of Sunday, February 3rd, 2019. My name is Zach.
And my name is Ed.
And my name is Steve.
And on today's show, we have our editor-in-chief, Kelly. How's it going, Kelly?
Great. Tear myself away from Kingdom Hearts for a little while.
Nice. Thank you for joining us. We also have our anime recap host and Anime News Network reviewer for One Piece and many other great shows. Sam Leach is with us today. How's it going, Sam?
Yes, I too am climbing the mountain of Kingdom Hearts 3, Guns of the Patriots.
So you're saying, like, they have to tie everything together to, like, wrap the story up, and it's just,
we'll find out.
All the nonsense
that's what,
and nano machines.
Is
nano machines, is that what Kingdom Hearts is?
Yes.
Oh, it's so much worse than that.
We also have Eisner Award-nominated author for Merman and many other great works. We have Joey Weiser with us. How's it going, Joey?
Pretty good. I played the first two Kingdom Hearts, and they were fun.
Before we get started today, there's some big news, especially if you were on our Patreon. We have finally re-released One Piece Podcast Goes to Japan. I said I would do it. It happened. And it's available on patreon.com/One Piece Podcast for all tiers. That means you could donate $1, $50, $5,000. It doesn't matter. You could still watch One Piece Podcast Goes to Japan. Plus, if you are a $10 contributor, you also get a deleted scene with me and Greg talking about the planetarium, which there was a special One Piece event there, and we talk a little bit about that. We also have a commentary from Anime Boston. Steve, do you remember that commentary from way, way back?
And Zach, despite what you may have said on Twitter, I was not on that commentary.
Well, you know
what? Go to Anime Boston.
In spirit, you were. I don't remember.
Yes, I was.
It was a few years ago.
I do remember pointing out when you were probably in Tokyo, I did point out an advertisement for Thomas the Tank Engine. I do remember that in the commentary. So you'll get riveting conversations like that as we discuss this documentary.
Please don't quit your day job, Steve, because
I would not like to.
No, but despite Steve underselling it, it's a very fun commentary. It includes me, Greg, I think Doc is there, you're there.
And Jose.
And Jose is there, and I think a few others as well. So it's
well, I'll say this, like that Anime Boston, which was in 2014, I believe.
15,
was...
I think. Because we released it at the end of 2014, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, we recorded in 13. I think we released it in 14, and I think Anime Boston was in 15. I'm pretty sure.
No, 2014.
I know it was after the movie The Departed that we kept quoting. Anyway.
Discussion for another time, but we had a lot of fun that weekend, and I think it will show in that commentary. We're like all in good spirits. So
yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. So not only that, we also want to let people know, we discussed this last week, but it's really big news. One Piece is free and legal worldwide. All you have to do is go to mangaplus.shueisha.co.jp. Got that there? mangaplus.shueisha, that's SHUEISHA.co.jp. And you get free chapters of One Piece every week. Right now, One Piece is ranked number 2 there. For some reason, Boku My no Hero Academia is number 1. It has 180,000 to One Piece's 122,000. But have you guys checked out Manga Plus, or you guys excited
I haven't
about
had
this?
yet.
I think it's really cool. It has like a bunch of stuff that is not available otherwise in English. Like a series that I'd been hearing about for a long time called Blue Flag by the author of Cross Manage.
Oh yeah, that.
Yeah, there's like the only problem with Manga Plus is it's not like Shonen Jump where you get a huge archive. You get like the first several chapters and the most recent several chapters, and there's a big gap where I think you will eventually be encouraged to buy volumes, which they don't, I think, have all of those missing parts in the volumes yet. But it's a really great chance to kind of like go ahead and sample stuff. They have Hinamara Sumo, the sumo series in Shonen Jump, and some other stuff. It's really cool.
Yeah, and it's so exciting that now every single person listening could read with us as it comes out. So this is the first chapter. Everyone can legally read this chapter that Stephen translated with us, either at shonenjump.viz.com or mangaplus.shueisha.co.jp. And we'll try and make it, more well known as we continue forward through this year. So that's really exciting news. But we also have a little bit of sad news that Kelly told us that J-World is closing soon, this week, this month.
This month. So apparently it was always going to be open for a fixed amount of time, but yeah, this is the very end of J-World Tokyo.
So if you want to see us there, or if you want to experience J-World and you no longer have that opportunity, OPP Japan is available, where we go there. So you could check that out. I think that's going to do it for us for us today. We're done. That's it. But we have
it was a good show.
we have our manga recap for chapter 931, and that is Soba Mask. And we also have an anime recap. I think that's episode 8. What is it? 8?
71.
71. Yeah, I knew we were at a round number there. Do you have the name of that?
It is Finally It's Over, the climax of the intense fight against Katakuri.
Do you guys remember what the number is of the episode where that fight started?
I think this week is exactly 21 episodes in.
Jesus. You could have a whole regular series of just that fight.
It's longer than the Cell game, actually.
Yeah.
But to be fair, it's
Is
like
it as long as the
interspersed.
Frieza fight, though? That's the big question.
I don't think so.
See? Can't complain.
Katakuri's like, I will defeat
longer.
you in 5 minutes.
Oh, God.
I'll say last
I mean,
week's
kind of.
episode-
There's
last week's
There's like the
episode was
last
really
hour.
good. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's kind of like 5 minutes because they've got that 1 a.m. rendezvous time
Oh yeah.
that Luffy
Right.
takes a nap before getting to.
Man, I don't mind the way that Shonen Jump type series like prolong actions and stuff. I just wish they wouldn't put those time counters on things because it just makes it so frustrating.
Well, you just have to factor in anime time. It's it runs a lot slower.
It makes you way more aware of it. That's the problem. If they never mention it, you won't think about it.
Yeah,
It would
totally.
last the same amount of time, but you'd be like, oh, that's... I mean, I understand the story device there, but anyway, that's a conversation for later. You guys ready to get into the chapter?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
This is the manga recap for chapter 931, Soba Mask. Ed, what's going on the front page here?
Got frogs tap dancing with delight in puddles from Nami's reign. And Napoleon is... Not Napoleon. God. What's his name?
Zeus.
Zeus is there too. They're all like,
God of
hello, my
lightning.
baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my right.
I like seeing Zeus get incorporated into just the regular everyday Straw Hat stuff.
So,
Yeah, Nami specifically.
Steve,
Zeus for Straw Hat.
Steve,
Kind of is one.
Can you
assuming he
remind
stays around.
me, was One Piece ever on WB?
No.
This would be full circle if it ever were.
Well,
Kids
let's
WB.
not.
90s kids reference. That's all I got.
And Oda has a very weird way of drawing frogs. they're pretty crazy looking, I think. Am I the only one who thinks that?
No, I agree.
They're
You are
Disney. They're Disney
yeah.
frogs.
Yeah.
Joey is the cartoon frog expert.
No. I like the frog on her shirt too. though.
Yeah.
By the way, this is a grand return from Noda Skywalker, who this is like his 30,000th edition here. I'm not quite sure.
And of many ideas.
Anyway, I think we could get into the first page here, Ed.
Sure. So Sanji, he sort of grips the can in his hand, and here it go, and this should do just the trick for a disguise in a pinch. And page one, like a good dog, says, "What's that? Canned food?" So the onlookers are surprised the Soba cook actually showed up. The fool, he stepped up so he could be killed. Well, otherwise the entire town would be destroyed. And Usopp calls out, "What do you think you're doing, Sangoro?" And Law, ever the downer, says, "Who cares about the town? Just forget it." Sanji, on the other hand, standing up, he says, "This is a battle against an emperor of the sea. There may be times when you can't save lives if you're too stubborn, and there may be times when you can save lives if you just learn to swallow your pride, especially if this thing has the power to help," as he sort of flaps it out. And it goes...
And to his belt, that's a...
Oh, that's...
He affixes it to his midsection.
Right. I remember that now. And so it goes... Yeah, good sound effects there. Love that. He continues, "Putting this stupid thing on doesn't mean that I've sunk to the level of being Germa. I'm only testing it out." And he starts to spin like a pinwheel, and his clothes go flying, and Hachi says, "I don't think you should strip in public." And it makes more good sound effects. Germa.
I'm thinking more of like the opening song from the G.I. Joe movie. Germa. Germa.
See, now I'm hearing it in Sailor Moon theme song.
And now transforming is half the battle.
And he starts to be enrobed by it. His cape flies out with a 3 on it. Frankie's eyes light up from Sanji's transformation. And move on to the next page.
Well, I do want to mention why I was sort of so adamant about talking about how he fixes it to his belt is that's the way that the Kamen Rider transformation goes, is that his belt spins, and in newer versions of Kamen Rider, they often have like a device that they whip out and then affix to their waist, and it attaches to them like a belt and then will spin in a way. So
I see. Okay. Anyway, who's next?
That would be me.
Lucky girl.
Listen, I made sure I was on this week. And we have Usopp going, "That's awesome. What kind of tech is that?" And we see that Sanji, through all of his transformation and spinning, has made his way to the roof. And it turns out that Law seems to be familiar with this look. And we have what is he doing with that suit of all things? I recognize that. That's the number 3 member of the Army of Evil, Germa 66. Stealth Black Dawn. And we have this amazing Sanji middle spread page here, which is awesome.
I like that new term, middle spread.
Well, I almost said man spread because I'm staring really hard at.
That's what it is, though. That's what it is.
Got some palpitations going on here.
Love the way the inside of his cape looks.
Yes, yes. And then we've got, "How do you know so much about that? Everyone in the North Blue knows. I don't care. Never call me that name again." And he was like, "Look, I was a regular reader. I hated Germa." "So do I." Which I love that interplay right there. And then we got, "So you're not just some soba cook. Name yourself. Soba Mask." And I love this. "That's the worst name you could have chosen. Come up with another one."
Sanji, that's the worst name I ever heard.
"It's terrible. Please just let us pick out the name. I'm begging you." And of course, Sanji's ignoring that. We got, "Let's go, lizard. Time to see what the power of science is all about." And we see him leaping off the building to get ready to attack.
Very cool how you can see Sanji's nose and mouth through the mask in that center.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
Super cool. Steve. Yeah.
Okay, and a big old chomp, page 1 takes out of where Sanji was standing on the roof. But nowhere in sight. Page 1 is like, where'd he go? He vanished. As we hear a spin, and nothing, just whoos towards page 1, and Bakum right in the gut. A big old just impact to page 1. See, lets out a big
he still looks goofy though.
He's overselling. Usohachi says, "What a blow. Wait, where did that even come from?" And Funosuke says, "It was so fast I couldn't see it." And Law, whatever your Japanese name is, says, "Not quite." It's not quite, because you see, years ago in the newspaper, he's clearly in a comic shop. Right? We found out in strip number 47 in year two. No, it says years ago, the newspaper ran a comic strip called Sora, Warrior of the Sea. The enemy in the story was an evil army called Germa 66. The German member named Stealth Black was particularly tough to fight because he could vanish. Doom, as we get page one collapsing into buildings, and we see the hint of an invisible Soba mask. And Law continues to read the editor's notes of this comic strip. He says he would project the background over his body so that he couldn't be seen against it. Sup's like, whoa, you're a total nerdo. He says,
Yeah, Law's like,
way too.
Get a load of this, true believers.
And Sanji thinks, like, what's up with this suit? Did I just vanish?
Sam.
Then we turn the page and we flash back to Sanji as a child. He's reading his little devil fruit encyclopedia. The clear fruit turns you invisible. He's very excited about that. Then we come to another flashback later in the series where Sanji is encountering Absalom, the original user of the clear fruit. There was a time when I wanted to become an invisible man, and now you've ruined my dream of eating the clear fruit. And so now we're back in the present, and Sanji is thinking to himself. So the dream I thought was dead has come true with the power of hated Germa's science? What twisted irony. But this power will indeed be useful for the women's helping my friends. What a dilemma. The tragedy is he can do both. The cape is a shield. The cape is a shield, accelerators on the heels, floating devices under the soles of the feet, and invisibility on top of that. This is the power of the raid suit. And we get to see page one in all of his hybrid dino glory. And we get a good look at this really gaudy like tattoo going across his bicep and his chest.
It's right out of Bleach or something.
Looks like Glenn Danzig.
This is page one on his chest.
Should call for that.
It doesn't look good because it doesn't look like it's really on his body. It just looks like text that's hovering over the art. Now I'm very Invisible Man. Now I'm very curious. Who are you really? Reveal yourself. And he's going after Sanji, and Sanji counters with a kick, but one is very strong. Hyperforms are the strongest form, I think, right?
Oh, are they?
It's kind of he smashes Sanji through the buildings, goes like halfway across town. Usopp and Frankie are going, whoa, is Sanji okay? And Law is just saying, those ancient types don't mess around. It hurts a bit, but this stuff is durable. The city's going to fall apart before I do. And Sanji's getting up out of the rubble.
And from the rubble, page one just seems to stare at the rubble. And what a derpy looking face. Anyway, he says, oh, well, I'll deliver his corpse to Boss Kiyoshiro. Whatever. I don't know what that all was about. I'm going to go steal some other guy's food. If you recall, that was the gag from last week. Anyway, or 2 weeks ago now. And Losuke and his compatriots say, hey, look, he told us to get a move on while Usohachi is saying, hey, why are we leaving him behind? Come on. And Sanji, or I'm sorry, I forgot.
Soba mask.
Soba mask. I was gonna say Cape Soba, but that also doesn't make sense. Is hovering in midair somehow using some power we've obviously never seen before. Anyway, and he's thinking, I'm gonna have to ask for Nosuke and Usohachi to change the design for me. Hey, we get to see a new design for this in the future. That's fun. And something is about to hit page one in the head, but we don't even get to see it, but we do see the impact, which Usopp is whoa, look at that. And Losuke is still like, hey, there'll be more of them, so and there'll be more fuss about us, so we gotta stay out of the capital. And Frankie is just like, and Frankie's running behind with Usopp on his shoulders as they flee to take shelter in Ebisu Town, which is where we were with Zoro, I think, right? I forget.
Yes, Zoro
yes.
and the Sycophant.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, has it been night this entire time? Because it's night right now. Under the crescent moon, we go to Orochi's castle as Orochi, the derpy, annoying guy that we forgot about, is dancing with his geishas.
His profile
Meanwhile-
is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, those teeth.
I feel like that would be a good T-shirt almost. That ridiculous, just him on your shirt doing that, ridiculous thing.
No
And
one
that's-
would ever wear that.
I would.
You would. You like strawberry.
I do like strawberry, which we'll get to more later in this chapter. Maybe even the next page. Meanwhile, one geisha seems to be wandering off to the inner part of a Benihana restaurant. No one's ever been to one that looks like, anyway. And she goes into Orochi's castle and looks through his, I'm gonna say, most modern day designed looking cabinets. I mean, these look like normal file cabinets almost. I guess those are just the handles.
I don't know if they're carved out of wood or something. They could look kind of old.
Yeah, I'm sure when they're in the anime, but just like from this angle, they just look like regular old file cabinets. Anyway, she notices, oh, what an old and eerie room this is, and this is Robin rifling through papers, we now find out. And she thinks to herself, ooh, a land closed to the outside for centuries, the country that created the poneglyphs, a stone must be here. Perhaps there is a hidden door somewhere. I've seen movies. And just then, there's a swoosh, 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 and someone asks, searching for something, and Robin is shocked to find Joey.
Oh no! But first, I want to also mention how cool it is that she's using her powers to like unfurl the scroll there. I think that's neat.
Definitely, yeah.
On the page there, but yes,
that's cool.
Bang! On the next page, we see a huge spread, sort of 3/4 page spread of the Shogun of Wano's personal ninja force, Orochi's Oniwa Banchu. And boy, look at all these guys. They all kind of look like different like Oni and yokai and deities and stuff. You've got this like crazy like masked guy on a catfish, and a dude with a scroll in his mouth looking like he's coming out of a Naruto cartoon or something. And then like, I don't know, this dude with horns. And
this guy with like Gear 4 smoke scarf thing.
Yeah, we got a few. You got that guy, and you have the tall lady that also has that sort of like thing that, and the same thing.
What was her name?
Yeah, all the fish royalty people.
Otohime.
Mm-hmm.
Like that.
And that like weirdly sweet looking girl in the center there with flowers in her hair. There's two here that look. There's a guy that looks like a Dharma, the kind of plump guy. And this dude in a straw, like little straw tent thing that looks like a yokai that I've seen that I can't pull the name of, unfortunately. And then there's like a dude with a kind of more traditional looking Oni mask in the back. And then Oda's like
my favorite one,
trademark giant guy poking out of a thing. Yeah. Dude in the back there. I love these designs.
The one all the way on the left is definitely my favorite. He is bizarre looking. He looks like he's out of a different comic almost. Like
the guy with the plump guy?
Yeah, the plump guy with the mustache who looks like he's like a Japanese Pringle commercial guy.
What are they called? What are those called again? Dharma.
Yeah, have you seen Dharma before? The round dolls that you're supposed to paint in one eye on New Year's and make a wish, and when it comes true, you paint in the next eye.
Mm-hmm.
They look like that.
Again, I've been to a Japanese restaurant.
He looks like the guy from the Natty Bokan.
So below here, we have a series of panels where they each get to shine a little bit. The big guy says, suspicious actions to take in the presence of ninja. The masked guy says, illogical. Doing his best Spock impression, and Robin is shocked. She has no idea when they all appeared before her. We see this dude with the emblem on his helmet looking serious, and the sweet looking girl saying,
that's the chrysanthemum, right? The emblem on his helmet.
Is it?
I think that's what it's supposed to be. Yeah.
That like police that symbol.
No, it's the symbol of the emperor.
Of the emperor. Yeah.
Oh,
in Japan, that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So the girl says, like, don't know what a ninja is. And then we get this little mummy guy looking as the tall lady says, perhaps she's an outsider.
That mummy guy is the Scarecrow from Batman.
Oh,
It
obviously.
looks like the guy from Big O.
Mm.
Yeah. What the hell's that guy's name? I don't remember now. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, that's the guy that I was saying looks like a yokai. I think Yamibiko, I think, is maybe who I'm thinking of. Anyway, you can look him up if you want. And then a mysterious tall-headed figure comes in. Could it be Strawberry? As Zach was hoping. He says, curiosity can be deadly, geisha. And here we see, no, it's not Strawberry, but another cool-looking fellow, Fukurokuju, who Steven sent us a message that he wanted to point out that he looks like one of the 7 lucky gods who shares his name. Which the 7 lucky gods I mentioned, I think the last time I was on with Greg, there were some like townspeople that looked kind of like those too. So I think that's interesting. He has the like symbol for ninja on his waist there, and he says, "Let's hear your excuse, and you only get one." I kind of would like if maybe that's like this guy's weird tick, as he always says, you only get one or something like that. And Robin's giving her oh shit face as she's kind of sweating as we hear music and laughter from the next room over. Stomp-a-domp, stomp-a-domp.
That's my favorite song. Steve.
Right. And then meanwhile, on Curry Beach, which is located in Curry, we hear, I'm really worried about Big Bro Luffy. And he was like, I told you, Otama, he's fine. Hiya. Or neen, or I should say. His sweet.
Peggy.
Hiya is what he'd say if this was like in the 80s.
That's a I forget what bit we had for Momonosuke here. Was it his sick sword moves? I don't know. No, I think actually maybe it's Chopper doing the moon. Yeah, because he's climbing a tree, which is what ninja and bears do. And so Thomas says, but Master said that no one's ever has ever come back from the prison in Udon. And Momonosuke is like, ta, hiya. He is like Miss Piggy. Don't correct me. As he's practicing hitting a bamboo tree. And he says, I know Raizo's tidings are late. If only I were stronger, I would rush into the rescue right now. It's like, and Chopper sees something on the distance on the beach. He's like, what's that? Who goes there on yon beach? Neen.
For a second, because I was like in Japanese mode reading this, I was like, oh, is that beach called Yon Beach?
Oh, we should have you do illegal translations show.
Yeah, I'm writing the wiki entry. Yon Beach is the beach where Big Mom washed up and bubbled.
Even though it just says Curry Beach on the same page. Anywho, we get a nice like little medium-sized spread here as we walk onto the beach and we see Big Mom passed out like she's on Punk Hazard. Remember that? That was an arc. And they approach it along with what's her name? Okiku, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They approach this body, and Momonosuke says, "A giant." It's like a giant would be larger, but it's huge for a human. And Okiku says, "Is that a woman?" And Otama says, "I wonder who's bigger, her or Kaido." And Chopper is, huh? Is that?
And we turn the page, and we cut to the other side of the scene. It's Big Mom, and then Chopper has to cover his mouth to not wake the sleeping woman. Okiku is leaning down. Do you say Chopper Amon? Is that how?
Yeah.
Is that his like ninja name? Chopper Amon. What is this? And Chopper's whispering now. Don't speak. She'll wake up. We have to get out of here. If she wakes up, we're done for. And this is a really cute panel of Momonosuke and Otama just kind of leaning to the side, trying to understand. No, it won't matter anyway, assuming she came here chasing after us. Momonosuke, now suddenly in dragon form. What? Is this the dreaded Big Mom? He seems to at least know who she is enough to recognize her. Don't shout. I'll finish her off right now. Think of her as Kaido. She's just like Kaido. Chaperemon, you have to explain what's going on. I'll do it later. And Big Mom is waking up. Chopper's running away. Too late. We gotta run. Big Mom gets up. Where am I? She's looking around. We see a little sleepy Napoleon on her head. Who am I? Dong. And Chopper's just got this face.
That is a great panel of Chopper.
That's so good. Yeah.
So
you can hear Ikoue Otani's performance there.
So that's gonna do it. What did you guys think of this week's chapter? Let's start with Joey.
Oh man, so much to say about this chapter. So yeah, first of all, of course, the Soba mask thing is great. Like I said, I liked the sort of nods to Kamen Rider. A thing that I was kind of like had a little logic problem with is wondering like if the comic books were based off of Germa, like why would they know about number 3 when Sanji wouldn't have been wearing this?
I know we have a diss piece about this.
Oh, do we? Okay. Well, it'll be interesting. Maybe if they have a theory. Do they have a theory, or were they just asking the same question?
I think they're mostly asking.
Yeah. So I don't know. But then, yeah, that's just a weird little thing, kind of brain puzzle thing to think about a little bit. But like, I am kind of excited about the idea of that Oda threw out of Frankie and Usopp eventually like modifying the outfit a bit, because I like the outfit, but I actually don't really like the mask part very much. Like I don't like the look with the glasses and the mask covering his face as much, personally. But so it'll be interesting to see where that goes. And yeah, so this was very exciting. Page 1's cool. We didn't. So I think you've mentioned this before, that his hair and stuff kind of looks like that wrestler Nakamura, right? Guys, and the that like corset, the laced corset, definitely felt very wrestler like to me as well. In his,
it's not a corset, design. It's a girdle.
Oh, it's girdle. Excuse me. That's so much more manly sounding.
I need a girdle when you got abs like that.
Yeah, and I thought that Oda, some of the storytelling was like very effective. Like this page turn where you hit all of the ninja surrounding Robin, like was genuinely pretty like scary to me. Like, oh my gosh, she's like totally surrounded and she's kind of screwed. Like, what's she gonna do? And then I had the similar feeling with Big Mom. Like, that Oda's like crafted a really good, effective character for Big Mom when just her presence, like, up with these 4 characters who were arguably, not the strongest characters, was kind of terrifying. And I did initially have some same sort of feelings, like, get out of there, get out of there. And then as for the stuff with the amnesia, I don't know. My gut feeling doesn't really like it, but I'm curious to see where it goes, because we don't really have much to judge on like what Oda's going to do with that. The amnesia plot point in general is not one that I'm super crazy about, and I don't like the idea of like taking away some of the stuff that's interesting about Big Mom, but like I'm assuming that it will be only temporary. It'll be, I don't know, I'm very curious to see where we go from there. Yeah, so this was a really, really exciting chapter. I'm glad that I got to be on for it. Just the way that schedules kind of aligned, I was like, oh wow, this is so dense and the art's really great. And yeah, it was very fun to read.
Kelly.
Well, I also echo Joey's of being happy to be on. I had to read this like 5 or 6 times, so I would stop making high-pitched girl sounds during the reading tonight. I was waiting for this transformation sequence forever, and it did not disappoint. I loved every single thing about that, from like the Germa to every little panel. Really in particularly enjoyed Sanji's sort of reasoning about, swallowing your pride to save lives. I thought that was like good classic Sanji. So I was happy to see that. The fact that the little Germa canister actually worked, I'm still shocked. I was waiting for, that joke peanut brittle with the snakes. So I was so surprised that it actually worked. But I kind of was thinking along the same lines with you, Joey, is like, why are they all familiar with this character? And then I started to wonder if maybe the Germa stories were maybe like an original army before the kids were older, and that the suits had been around for a little while, and maybe Judge was part of that original group or something like that. But
yeah, the timelines on the comic book is not super clear, because sometimes it does feel like it's older than Sanji and his family or his siblings would be.
And that's kind of what I was wondering, or at least that's how I took it. Because like just the fact that I can't fathom they would have had this made just for Sanji. Because you feel like he was kind of like already deemed a failure way in advance. So why would you have all this tech for them? So that's kind of the way I took it.
Yeah, I definitely think that they model all of their suits off of this family lineage that's been doing this for multiple generations or something.
That was my kind of suspicion as well. And then, I mean, just the introduction of Big Mom with amnesia is really interesting. I'm kind of curious as to what happened to the rest of her family and whether or not we will see them again, or if this is just going to have Big Mom isolated on the beach. But that last panel was a huge surprise for me, and kind of, going through it being so like, oh my God, Sanji, be like, oh crap. And it was enough to shock me into stopping thinking about that transformation sequence and to kind of wonder like what's going to happen with Big Mom. But overall, really, really clearly enjoyed the chapter because I'm rambling.
Sam, what did you think?
I loved this chapter pretty much in its entirety. So like when Whole Cake Island ended, and it kind of left a lot of things open-ended, like the I was really looking forward to seeing the Germa stuff kind of fleshed out more, like the history of like why are we implying that Sanji's mom is the Marine hero? Why are we like what's the backstory here that we're missing? And then also just like how we leave Big Mom like not really having beaten her. Like, oh, how do you defeat Big Mom? And oh, turns out you just don't. But I was ready to just kind of let that be what that kind of final note was. Like maybe those things will come back later, but for now, like I think it's important to just sort of use my own imagination to fill in those blanks and be ready for there just not to be an answer to some of the questions that are raised, which I think is a nice way to kind of end that arc. But then this chapter comes around and it's like, oh no, we want you still thinking about these things. We want you still be thinking about the history of the Germa comic book. And we've got Law, who is probably like more familiar with it than anyone we've met so far, other than like Vito.
Yeah, because he's a nerd.
Yeah. The Big Mom thing, I think, is so, because Big Mom is such an interesting like person. She's operating on so many. Her greatest defense, the thing that makes her the most threatening, is that she has this like cognitive dissonance that's constantly like allowing her to feel good about whatever it is she's doing. And I think that's kind of what this amnesia thing is getting at, where it's like, oh, now that we strip away her like personal identity, all of her memories of things people taught her and raised her to be like, like what's left of her, like what kind of person is she, what kind of priorities does she have when you take out that kind of stuff, and the fact that it's a memory loss thing makes me think that we eventually do have to explore. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to find out, because it feels like, maybe Pudding's around, maybe she's on that ship and she can fix Big Mom's memories. But I feel like where the end of this amnesia road has to be sort of Big Mom, like for real confronting the memories of eating Mother Caramel, or for real confronting whatever happened between her and Lola, because those two are clearly like not on the same page as to like why they're fighting. So that's where I think that's going. Like what becomes of Big Mom when you take out like so much of like the emotional kind of baggage and trauma and like basically the grooming that the adults into her. Because I think she's like a glutton by nature. She's the hunger pangs is just like an instinctual like thing she was born with. But the rest of it, the fake like the fake world peace stuff, and the I've got to meet the approval of this dead woman who was never the person I thought she was anyway, yada yada. So I think that this is instrumental in like exploring Big Mom's like true self and in a way that we probably couldn't before. Because before, like, how do you beat Big Mom? How do you like speak to her humanity? And it just seemed like at the end of Whole Cake Island, the answer was to just like wait for her to die of old age eventually. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. I think page 1's hybrid form looks awesome. I love the camaraderie of the Straw Hats. Like, it feels like we've been without that in a traditional sense for a while. So just like having Usopp and Frankie freaking out or begging Sanji to help him pick the name of his costume, and I had my heart really set on like Frankie having already modified the outfit, and then turns out he hasn't, and I was like, oh, okay, whatever. But then like later Sanji says that, oh, Frankie and Usopp should help me redesign this thing. I'm like, oh, it's amazing. I love it.
I found their like commentary a little frustrating at first, because I was like, you guys are supposed to be leaving, like this is the whole reason why he's doing this. But they addressed that, and we got out of that the like nerd law stuff, which was very fun.
Oh, that was so good. And I'm interested where like Robin and the ninjas go. The ninjas kind of they feel kind of first drafty in design to me a little bit, but I think they're really cool looking, and I'm interested to see where this goes. I don't get like my gut is not that that they're not like super evil or antagonistic. Maybe I think they're just doing a job.
Steve.
What is there left to say other than that's Sanji? So damn cool right now. I mean, this was just awesome. I was just like grinning like ear to ear, like reading this chapter earlier today. I kind of like that it wasn't a joke. I like that it's just like a badass super suit, and Sanji's basically pulling a Soge King, like a Sniper King, or a Chopper mask, the very short-lived Chopper mask. It's classic One Piece, but it's a different spin because Sanji is not embracing Germa, but he just needs to, he just needs a disguise, and it's helping him put up a decent fight against Page One. And I don't know, this is like ripe with potential for some fun gags and stories in the near future. It's just ironic because Sanji's taking like basically a supervillain costume and pretending to be a superhero. It's really great, and it's something really different for Sanji. And the fact that he could turn invisible is very interesting. I mean, it's a nice callback to that less than stellar rivalry with Absalom. But
guess what? Absalom's dead.
That's right.
Yep.
Still
He's
can get
dead.
that fruit.
Are we being set up for Sanji versus Shiryu?
Yeah, thank you for the segue. I immediately thought, oh, Shiryu, if we have like this Blackbeard Pirates versus Straw Hat Pirates like final battle towards the end of the series, I always thought like, oh, I could see Shiryu being paired up with Zoro because they are both swordsmen, but this kind of changes things. I could see Sanji having an invisible fight with Shiryu but I could see Sanji also kind of eventually dropping the suit and kind of just being a badass on his own and still being able to defeat Shiryu, which doesn't seem so far fetched these days because with hockey you can sense when
It'll be
you're about to get attacked.
the greatest fight never seen.
Yes, it's like, oh, you should have seen it. It was amazing.
Except that you
Apparently
couldn't see it.
Oda didn't have to draw it.
And apparently,
but
observation hockey is Sanji's specialty.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But other than that, it's just a brilliantly drawn chapter. Some really great art. Page 1 looks amazing. He looks like Koopas from the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Oh my god.
And I almost feel like there was a lot of cool stuff going on here that Sanji kind of like stole their thunder, but I really like the Oni wa Banshu, all the ninjas. They look great. So many great designs there. And I think I also like the dour Mulligan guy. He looks like he's about to like throw up.
Yeah, I kind of hope that guy like never speaks. That he's just like there the whole time.
Kind of talks like Gadatsu. He's like, But yeah, some like really cool, unique looking designs, and we have some, we have a few females in the group too, and they look pretty great. Yeah, it was just awesome, and I'm looking forward to the Big Mom thing. I could see Big Mom befriending the children and being like, "This is our friend Lin Lin, and Lin Lin, go fight that mean guy Kaido." She's like, "Okay." Like it's two birds with one stone. You just have the emperors fight one another.
That's just what I was about to talk about with Chopper, Otama, and Momonosuke finding Big Mom. It's a good group to find her.
Ed, what did you think? Unless you had anything else.
No, that's all.
Yeah, go
pretty
ahead.
much summed up everything. But that was my big. I'm really excited for that. I don't really have an opinion on the amnesia of it because we have like one panel of it. Like we don't really know what it is yet, what it means, how long it's going to last. I don't think it's going to last terribly long, but it'll be interesting if, as many people have assumed, that there's a previous relationship between her and Kaido. That'll be an interesting interaction as well. Now, as you guys said, I love the Oniwa Banshu designs. Like, and the guys. His Fukurokuju, really, I mean, his face it really does look like he's got the same kind of facial hair as Strawberry does. It's definitely there. But other than that, you guys have pretty much covered everything I wanted to talk about. I do love the way that Sanji can the way his vanishing is rendered, that they can draw that sort of like in the mist type of thing. As for the ninjas, I'm with the person who said that they may not be as antagonistic as they seem. So then maybe they have a dispute with the Shogun himself. We'll see. But page 1 looks awesome, and Law's a nerd. So
yeah. Law's a huge nerd.
My takeaways.
Yeah, Law's character, I think, has infinitely improved in this arc so far. We've talked a bunch about it. There are a bunch of character quirks I think we did not really get to see before that are coming out in his character that is adding a little bit of depth to his kind of, I'm cool and I care about what everyone else thinks about me. And we get this kind of thing here. Anyway, I think this was a great chapter beginning to end. With the Sanji page 1, I'm gonna try not to repeat what's been said. I like the outfit Sanji wore, except that it looks so similar to every other Germa kind of outfit we've seen so far. I think we talked a little bit about it. Like, how does Law know about Stealth Black existing if this is the first time Sanji did this? I assume Germa has had several iterations at this point. Or like the comic book thing versus real life thing confuses the shit out of me as to how we're supposed to kind of see that and get that. Is it a gag also that even though Sanji's hair goes up, there's still that part that goes down over his eye there? Is that? I feel like that's supposed to be a gag. Or, anyway, I don't know.
He looks a little silly, but
no,
I think that way he still looks like Sanji.
Well, I feel like if he were a normal person, the hair would have just gone up. You know, like almost like a Super Saiyan thing. His hair would have gone up, but it has to stay down a little bit to cover that eye. Um, I don't know. I feel like Oda was going for a joke there that I didn't quite see, but the highlight I think of this chapter was that were those 2 pages with Robin. And I'm happy we're seeing Robin shine a little bit here. I feel like she's kind of been forgotten a lot of this arc so far.
Still undercover.
I mean, she's undercover, although her cover has been blown here. I love all of these designs so much. They are Oda. Like, I turn this page and I'm like, really? Oda has all of this, and he's gonna just blow it all here? You know, he's just throwing out like these. How many people are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10, 11 if you count
11.
Fukurokuju. Just like throwing out these like unbelievably unique and crazy looking designs. I'm like half mad at Oda, like, why are you just doing this all now? And half like just so proud of my Oda. It's so cool. I would purchase a color spread of just these guys in a heartbeat. This is I would watch a spin-off of these guys not knowing anything just because these designs look so cool. I feel like Oda, if he didn't do One Piece, he'd be working on like 30 other series, and these guys would be the lead cast of one of them. And then we immediately go to this other like jaw dropper with Big Mom. I hate amnesia as a plot device. I want to say that. I said that with Sabo, so I need to be consistent. However, I'm gonna go along with everyone else and kind of not judge. I think her lapses in memory in the past could bring up some interesting stuff here with her character. I'm curious if Napoleon also has amnesia. How does that work? Do all her homies have amnesia now? I don't know.
I think it'd be fun if he didn't, and he was like trying to steer Big Mom back to evil, and she's just kind of wandering off, not listening to him.
That'd be hilarious.
I hope that is the case. I do like how Big Mom, when she's passed out, Napoleon is also passed out. I didn't notice that, but I was just looking at that. I feel like Oda just really enjoys drawing Napoleon. I think that's part of it. And I'm gonna, echo what Sam said. There was I think a lot of the disappointment we had at the end of Whole Cake Island, and there wasn't a lot, but the disappointment we did have was like, we don't know what's happening with a lot of it. It's so up in the air, which was fine. But it kind of felt like a little bit of a letdown. But I think if Oda is showing one thing here, in that One Piece Connection article I wrote way back, we talked about the different types of plots in One Piece. The huge stories that overlay the entire saga, the entire series, and then the saga and arc, and the ones that happen within. In the new world, everything is so damn intertwined that us podcast people and wiki people and people trying to categorize everything get infuriated because everything just crosses over from one into the next. Like the fact that we have the bad guy from the last arc, who we didn't beat, bad girl, bad woman, whatever you want to call her, and she's back here in the next arc, not even like halfway through this arc. Who knows how far we are through this, but it's pretty unbelievable. I think it's really cool. It's very different, and it also makes me like extremely confused as to what will happen here with Big Mom in Wano. Do you guys have any other thoughts here?
Is she gonna be the Caesar clown of the Wano arc?
Yes, please.
I'm fine with that.
Oh my God.
I thought Caesar Clown was, and I know Sam is going to agree with me here. I thought Caesar Clown being in those following arcs was fantastic. So I'm not going to complain. But
All I have to
unlike that, she will not be a punching bag, and we know that because she could punch everyone else to oblivion.
She punches back.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's gonna be like handling her with kid gloves, like they're gonna be very careful.
Gloves. They're called mom gloves.
Mom gloves.
all I have to say is Frankie better not put nipple lights on that raid suit.
Oh my God.
That's all I have to say.
Well, I don't know. It's
That'd be a good
functional.
I'm a utilitarian if I need a flashlight and they're available. Any other final thoughts? No? Okay, let's move on into the next segment.
Okay.
Let's go, One Piece podcast, off into the Piece Together segment. Let's start, Ed, with...
DSP.
Our first disc piece this week is from Morgil. Last week, you guys talked about the character Crescent Gary/Galley. I just wanted to add an extra bit of clarification on this. The first version of Romance Dawn is indeed available in English. It was first released in the old American Shonen Jump print magazine and is currently included as a bonus in the first of the big manga box sets. Furthermore, the official translation that Viz went with in it is indeed Gary, not Galley.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of people comment about that, and thank you for correcting
Gary?
us.
I thought Steven's explanation of why they Romanize Gary the way they do in Japan was very funny.
Yeah, what's next?
Yes, our next couple of disc pieces is from our good friend Joe. You guys were wondering what Sanji's German name would be a few weeks ago, but now I pose the question, what are your German names?
Oh,
Man.
it's like a quality and a color, right?
Trivia Teal.
Does it have to be alliterative? It doesn't, because it's still
No.
black. So I'd say Attorney Brown.
Obsessive compulsive orange.
Shouldn't
Sad but true.
it be, is there a color that starts with a D that I'm not thinking of at the moment? Because it would be OCD.
Lethargic blue.
Nice.
Yeah, man, I wanted teal. I'm sad. I want teal.
You're like a sports team from 1992.
Yes.
Steve,
and then,
what are you? Yeah, I want to know what Steve is.
Wait, a what?
what's your German name?
What's your German name? So it's a quality and a color. It could really be anything.
Oh, let's see. Big Purple.
Okay,
Big
sure.
purple.
And then she also adds,
Wait, wasn't that dubs? That there was a dub called Big
No, that's
Green?
the big green
Right?
dub.
That's Big Green.
I was what I was thinking.
Let that child alone.
Your raid suit would look like Steve.
Look like what?
Grimace.
Hey, nothing can defeat the grimace.
Oh, nothing can
Yeah.
kill the grimace.
He even is the reason why we have our current president, if I recall correctly. That's right, right? What's the next question, Sam?
Then Joe also adds, on a less silly note, were there ever moments in the story where you felt Oda's character writing was weak? I've been dealing with this feeling for a while, and it's been bugging me. I almost wonder if it's a side effect of having so many characters right now. And I know she's specifically referring to, Joe's the big Law fan, and I know that she's actually not that big on like Law's characterization in Wano. Just because she wishes that he was like kind of opening up to the crew more instead of being this kind of one note.
Well, I think Joe's gonna be coming on the show soon, since she's a high tier Patreon subscriber, and we're gonna have them on in the coming weeks and months. We all have different opinions about that. For character,
I know she liked the comic book stuff this week.
Yeah, no, I think this was a good Law chapter. I also would say Sabo, I think, had that amnesia thing. It's just in my head right now, unlike amnesia. I think this is such a cop-out plot device.
Yeah, every once in a while, I feel like I can't pull an example, sorry, but every once in a while, I feel like he drops some character writing in service of a joke or something, and somebody, just because they're the character there, will like act in a way that doesn't quite feel right. But I don't know. I feel like I remember having that feeling. And a thing that comes to mind, this is a thing that we always harp on, but the worst chapter of One Piece, where Frankie, Frankie Senior Pink Queen chapter, like felt very weak because it felt like, what are you doing to Frankie, type thing. But
I feel like, I don't know. I feel like so many times in like the worst cases, it's always So it's kind of a matter of patience sometimes, like Usopp's like cowardice in Dressrosa, for example, like big hubbub when it first happened, and then like as now nobody cares, or people thought it was a cool character moment for him. Yeah, I definitely think she has a point with the side effect of having so many characters, where it's you have all these characters in it, and like sometimes some of them just have to be a bouncing board for other characters until they can have their more serious moments. Which is, I feel like that's always the thing that I think is true about stories. Is you kind of always got to have a mix of like kind of dynamic or constantly developing characters, and then like more static characters, so that they can kind of mix and bounce in interesting ways. You know, I don't think I don't think there's a point to like when people want to be like, oh, Vegeta's a better character than Goku because Vegeta gets development. It's like, well, that's kind of the thing that makes them different, is that like Goku kind of already has found himself and Vegeta has to go through the process, etc. But they bounce off each other really well.
Dragon Ball Z.
Yes, always.
What's next, Sam?
Our next question comes from Narthon. In the One Piece world, this is the Germa question. When was the Germa comic first published? Were the color siblings characters in the comic first, and then Judge copied them? Were there historic versions of the 5 colors before the siblings were born and became active in Germa activities? Whatever. I like the stealth black version of Sanji's hair.
I never even thought about Judge just being a comic book fan and then making them.
I think it's pretty obvious that the comic was. The comic was inspired by the actual history of Germa.
That's what I thought, but and
they've always used these colors.
And Judge is very invested in like the legacy of Germa as a nation.
Right.
He was making Germa great again.
Yeah,
yes, exactly.
The only thing that doesn't quite fit into this is like Sora. Like that's the thing that always kind of where I hit a snag. Where I'm like,
maybe she was the Rocinante of the Germa. You know, she was secretly the spy for the government.
Well, my tinfoil hat theory has always been that that Sora she was like a marine hero, but she wasn't actually that like good of a person. She was actually like a super like maniacal evil villain, and that's why she got along with Judge. And the Sora hero in the comics is just like marine propaganda.
I still like
just people with the same name.
I like my new idea where he was just a really big nerd and liked the comic book and then started just making them. I know it's not the case.
Change her name. Oh, yeah. This is what it is. Yeah. He married Sanji's mom, and he's like, no, the way this is going to work for me is you have to change your name to this character from my favorite comic book.
Because you notice there's no Judge in the comic book as far as we know. Yeah. Sam, what's next?
Also, Narthon adds, also good on Chopper being ready to dispatch Big Mom when she was knocked out. This doctor will do harm when he has to. Which I guess is true.
Yeah, anything else on Disc Piece?
Yes, our final Disc Piece is from Grim Pyro. What a great chapter. Man, I'd really love a Germa side comic. Even more so, I'd really love to know what the other fruits are in that book young Sanji was reading. Also, this peanut gallery of ninjas seems interesting. Good to see Gladius is back and riding a catfish. Hopefully, Oda's not biting off more than he can chew with this influx of characters. I think he is biting off more than
Definitely
he can chew. That's part of the thrill.
Yeah, it's like when you just like, oh, this could go so wrong, but at the same time, if it doesn't, it's gonna be awesome.
Right.
We could probably go to emails then, right?
Email.
First email comes from Ryan, who said, in honor of Kingdom Hearts 3 finally being released, I have a crossover question for you. So this one, I guess, is for everyone but me. If One Piece had a Kingdom Hearts world, what would the name of the world be? What arc would the setting for that world be? And what would the Keyblade you get from finishing the world be called? Bonus points if you could describe what it would look like. If you can't, then it's fine. Also, who and what would be some of the bosses for that world?
I think they would just call it the Grand Line.
I was going to say, it has to be Grand Line.
I was going to say East Blue just because, I don't know, it feels like it would.
That works too.
There's less stuff, I guess, in East Blue.
Just make it easy.
I honestly think One Piece would be a good counterbalance to Disney and Final Fantasy in that, like, it's kind of a good in between.
I mean, One Piece is sort of set up like Kingdom Hearts. It's like you could have a whole Kingdom Hearts where
different islands,
Final
different
Fantasy
worlds,
boy
yeah.
goes from island to island, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think the Keyblade, like, I'm just imagining that
Has to be a devil fruit, right?
Oh, that would be good. I was thinking it would be like a little like profile of Mary.
Mm.
Be good. Or the skull with the straw hat on it.
Yeah.
We could go to the next question then, I think. Myra says she has a question for us. If you could, and we've gotten this question a lot, but it's been a little while, so I'll throw it out there again. If you could have any devil fruit that we're currently aware of from One Piece, which would it be? Let's go around the horn. Sam,
If you
one
could have
devil fruit. If you had it, if you could have it, which one would it be? Remember, you can't swim again. You get an awesome power, but no swimming.
I feel like Jacket is overused as a joke now.
So does that mean you want it because you're so counter to counterculture, or what was it again? Contrarian? That's the word.
Contrarian. Well, I'm trying not to pick it to be contrarian.
Oh, so you want the gum fruit.
Yes. There we
trying
go.
to think of the least
reverse contrarianism.
The fire fruit. I'm just trying to think of the least contrarian.
I could eat the smoking nuts.
All right, while Sam thinks, does anyone have one that they know?
You know, I initially was like, it would be kind of cool to have that one where whatever you draw like comes to life, but then it actually was really kind of upsetting to think about.
Because they all like live and then have to die.
Yeah, I don't know.
I want cheekies. I want to fly with my shoes or whatever he has to do. I don't have to cut off my legs though.
Your legs are sword, and your face is beard, and your head is wheel. Or whatever other iterations we had there. Anyone else?
I feel like Magellan's power would be cool, but you get diarrhea all the time.
Yeah, no thanks.
I think I'd want a zone type.
Giraffes are cool.
Something flying. I'd be down with anything flying.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, I think we as normal human beings in the normal, real, regular worlds all want to fly.
Yeah, because who cares if you can't swim if you can fly?
Yeah, and flying sucks.
Exactly.
Flying is like swimming in the air.
Very true.
The air is your ocean.
Steve, which would you pick?
I'm an incredibly boring person who doesn't pick like what superpowers they would have or what devil fruit they would eat. Someone else pick for me.
Steve, you should have
The Dongo one. You can pull off parts of his face.
Yes,
feed it to animals.
Definitely that, and then make those animals follow you. Actually, that's
I
a
love
pretty cool one.
I love it. I love animals.
Oh my god, you'd have just like a herd of elephants.
I'll make everyone jealous when I go over their house and, I'm playing with their pets. I just make them eat a dumpling and they're like, oh, your pet loves me more than they love you.
Right, my pet now.
You're just going to like be playing your PS4 with an elephant, and they're going to be like, what are you doing, Steve, right now? There's a lot of noise happening above.
It's like, please poop outside.
Their poop looks like coconuts.
Don't try to crack one open.
Oh, that was my problem. Next one. Should I answer that question? I mean, I feel like I have to do a Logia because that makes the most sense. Because things could literally, like, very little could hurt you if you have a Logia. But I just don't know which one. Although, the power I actually would want though is Fujitori's because that's awesome. I don't know. I just think that's awesome. I don't have a good reason for it. It's like my 12-year-old self just would really like that. Next question is from Ben Wild, who, by the way, is putting trivia questions together. Says he has a theory for us. What do you think of Momonosuke being turned older at the end of the arc? We know that Shinobu has the power to mature things, and this would allow him to be of legal age to take over as Lord of Curry. Also, great time.
I'm going to say legal age to do other things.
But is he legal in his mind?
Also, great time for him to try and the verb to try and love up Nami and Robin and get smacked down now that he is not a kid. That would be some good karma. If he just gets smacked down. But I don't know if I see that happening. Anyone?
Yeah.
You know, when you get smacked down, you could get up again. Okay, what do we have on Reddit? Who's doing Reddit again at this point?
So that was
You are.
Zach.
It's me. Awesome. So Stephen, by the way, out this week because we are recording during the Super Bowl. This first one comes from Lord Nemo 593, who says, "Why do the early scans exist? Is it just someone who gets the chapter a few days before and reveals it? Is there a reason that
Yeah.
Jump or Shueisha or whoever's in charge wait 2 days to release it if they already have the chapter done and ready to go 2 days before?"
Because they have
Well,
to ship
get the
magazines.
magazine.
Yeah, they're physical magazines. That's what's happening. So someone who probably, this is how this works. Someone
Works
who
at a
works
printing place.
yeah, works
or
at the printing
drives
press
a truck.
or factory or or preps them for delivery, takes it, scans it, like very literally, just one of the copies that he's going to deliver, and then posts it online before the street date, which is when we all get it free and legal now. Literally everyone around the world, on Shueisha's site or on Shonen Jump from Viz. So I think today it is especially useless. And I think it was harmful, obviously, but it ended up, I guess, I don't know, it's ridiculous.
And the reason why they don't wait is because they don't want to compete with their own print magazine product.
Right. That's why
yeah.
they don't do it when I guess it's technically done.
Yeah.
To be fair, I'm pretty sure Oda probably has everything ready. Well, we know Steven translates it a little while before too. So they have the materials just about ready to go way before, but not everything, or not all the pieces are like together by that point. So I mean, if you just want to read a script of the chapter and you want them to release that, I'm sure they could do that a few weeks ahead of time.
They would
but
never do that. Let's be
Not
clear.
only would they never do that, but you would not enjoy it because, I mean, half the reason, I hope at least half the reason you read through One Piece is for the amazing art. And also, waiting until it's done. It's fine. It's a week. Actually, this week it's on Friday, so you could read it on this Friday. So,
Is there a reason we know for that, or just?
yes, I don't know. Probably. Is it a holiday this week? I have no idea. Maybe I hope it's not another double issue. We've been having so many breaks. Even I'm getting annoyed by this. Let's go to Natachi, who says, "Seems like Luffy has evolved his Gear 4 from the animals he had on the island." This is somewhat about the anime, I guess, as well. Bounce Man, Giant Gorilla, Snake Man, Giant Python. Would it be safe to assume that he can incorporate other animals in his fight when needed? Also, this person says he is worried about Sanji's raid suit. It might give him a chance to take a peek at Robin and Nami, but he will nosebleed so bad that he will fill up the mask and drown in his own blood. I'm sure Robin will find it funny, though. She does have a grim sense of humor.
He can't win too much in that department.
No. Yeah, sometimes it's better not to get what you want, for everyone's sake. What a way to go. Does anyone have... I mean, I think we knew before that all of his attacks were named after animals from... What's the...
Ruskaina.
Ruskaina. I knew it started with an R, and that's all I remembered. Anyway... Is there any animal that we saw there that we did not have an attack for yet?
I mean, has he done a lion thing?
Yeah, there was oh shit. It was like Leo something, right?
Like Leo Bazooka or something.
Yeah,
Something like
something
that,
during
yeah.
Dressrosa. I love the animal themes to the attacks. That's a fun
Maybe
addition.
he'll do like a dinosaur or something.
That'd
Yeah.
be great.
Tyrannosaurus pistol.
So this just in, February 11th is National Foundation Day in Japan.
That's when you
a-
put foundations in all your houses. Make sure
it celebrates the mythological foundation of Japan and the accession of its first emperor, Emperor Jimmu.
Interesting. So is it a double issue then? I'm guessing, or maybe it's just released
No,
early
it's
because
the
of the
holidays
holiday.
on Monday.
Oh,
So,
that's why.
like,
Okay.
It would come out. Yeah. on
Okay,
the
so that's
day
good
before
news
that.
for everyone.
Mhm.
Doesn't sound like we're going to be off the following week, hopefully. Next question comes from srob22. There's a quick theory. He thinks that when Big Mom regains her memory, she will regain all of her memories, including Mother Carmel and the kids. I mean, how many of us think that that's going to be the case?
Repeat the question.
She thinks, this person thinks that when Big Mom comes to, all her memories come to, it will include Mother Carmel and eating the children.
Yeah, I
Sounds
think
like the best.
something like that has to happen.
It would give, if that is like kind of where the amnesia leads or somewhere like that, I'd be a lot happier with that plot device. I'm extremely skeptical right now.
Yeah, there's gotta be some point where she like has to like for real face what really happened and not just keep doing all these mental gymnastics.
Okay. So CJ, you go ahead.
I just feel like this is going to turn into that episode of Rugrats when Stu hit his head and then he thought he was a baby.
Oh my God, I remember that. There were
I honestly think like they're gonna like treat Big Mom like young Lin, and they're just gonna be kids again. But watch out because she'll eat them. So,
I was gonna.
Yeah, she was not great to the other kids.
No, she
I
wasn't.
know that's the thing. I was just realizing, I'm like, oh wait, she was a shitty kid too.
I mean, I was gonna say this is a plot device. I feel like I've seen in a lot of shows where they get like tricked into thinking there's something else after they lose their memory. Besides Rugrats, I feel like that's happened in a lot. Futurama had, I think, an episode like that too.
Yeah, it's a classic.
It's a
'Cause it's
classic,
like a chance to like work with a clean slate.
but still kind of like the character skeleton is there. But you could like, yeah. Look,
Maybe-
I'll hold off
Different
on my
directions.
opinion. Yeah, I'll see where it goes. Next one. I just will say CJ de Elf also said that the Shiryu and Sanji invisible fight, seems like it's going to happen. Nivers has the most ridiculous question, and it's fine if none of you have an answer to this, but what store-bought frozen pizza would you use to describe any of the filler arcs?
Whoa.
Okay,
I'm gonna
here we go.
Go for it. Go for it.
I'm not familiar with too many frozen pizza because I'm not a child anymore.
And also, you lived in New York for most of your...
I did, but my brother was a bigger fan of frozen pizza. But
what is wrong with him? Hit him.
Shut up, Zach.
No.
Anywho, it's weird because I think G8 is usually referred to as like the best filler arc. I recently rewatched Rainbow Mist all in one sitting, and I think it's a lot better than it was given credit for. I'd say, okay, and we're talking the realms of frozen pizza here, so don't like come after me, Zach. And you too, Ed. You're from Chicago. I don't know what Philly's stance is on pizza, so I'm sorry, Kelly. I would say like G8 and Rainbow Mist are like two of the best filler arcs in One Piece. I think they're more of the DiGiorno. They got a little more flavor to it, good doughy crust. Can't go wrong.
It's not delivery, I'll tell you that.
Well, it's because I think those are kind of on the same level right now. I don't know which one's better. Tombstone pizza is if you get a good pepperoni Tombstone pizza, it's not a thick crust, but it's usually nice and crispy if you cook it just right. A very serviceable frozen pizza that if you're a monster, you could just eat it all yourself and you'll feel just fine.
I would say a Tombstone pizza sits in your stomach for a really long time, so it's probably one of the filler arcs that are a little too long, but not terrible.
But like Apis, I still think is the worst. Like Apis and like
Elio's. Does that still exist? Because I had that as a kid.
Mama Celeste.
I hated it.
Man, I forgot about Red Baron. Red Baron's pretty decent.
I like Red Baron. That's my
Red
go-to.
Baron. Yeah.
I don't
Oh my God.
consider frozen pizza pizza. I consider it like a separate category where if you're really desperate and you have nothing else,
Like a
that's
filler
fine.
arc.
Like a
gonna
filler
have to
arc, exactly.
Yeah. I'm
Like-
gonna have to apologize to our fan that asked this question because it's a good question, but I think I like frozen pizza more than I do One Piece filler.
You know what? And I'm a pizza snob. Me too.
Like Red Baron does not deserve
I don't
to
know if
be
I've had Red Baron.
to the Goat Island filler.
Any other people with thoughts on that, or should we move on?
So is Red Baron like the movies then? No, it's not quite as good as the movies.
Which movie?
So the movies would be like one of the good movies, like one of the sort of upper, one of those sort of newer frozen pizzas that have like natural ingredients and stuff.
Like an Amy's?
Yeah, something like that.
I think like the film trilogy would even be like Dollar Pizza in New York level, I think it's above frozen pizza even. That's what I'm saying. But not quite at real pizza. So it's like somewhere in between. One Piece film pizza. God, that sounds amazing. Anyway, next question. Electric Dynamite says, what do you think the chances are that pudding is involved with Big Mom's amnesia? Maybe not in causing it, but perhaps fixing it.
Okay, but she didn't have amnesia right before she went into the waterfall.
Or did she? No, she didn't.
Don't think so. Like, that would have been some short period of time for that to happen.
I can see her fixing it, but I also don't think she's here.
She didn't look like she was on the boat when they showed the family.
Right. Which doesn't guarantee anything, but
True.
Like, I think Pudding and Katakuri are staying behind. I think they're holding the fort.
Should we move on? Next one is from Nico Robbins Yowie Hands. Two questions. Delayed reaction there from Steve.
That's a good name.
It is. I agree with Uso Hachi. Sabo Mask is not a great name. What would you name Sanji's new persona?
Cool man.
Pretty.
Wait, wouldn't he just name it Sanji is cool? And it would just say it in big letters.
Gives away his identity, Zach.
No, that would be the joke, Steve.
Who is this Sanji is cool man? Surely he cannot be Sanji. No one's that self-absorbed.
Guys. I just realized something. I don't think we've ever seen Sanji and Sanji's cool man in the same room.
No, it would be great. So it would be the outfit is exactly the same, except instead of like the three, it just says in big letters Sanji, and then in smaller letters is cool man.
It's cool.
Or it's a picture of his face.
And then man under it, yeah. With a picture of his face. Just like making it as obvious as possible. And then page 1 is just like, who is this man? Not that he would know who Sanji is anyway. The second question, over under on Big Bro Chopper teaching Lin proper manners before she gets hungry for a cotton candy snack.
He's going to do his best.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to succeed at that, though.
It might not be enough.
If she feeds on some of that kibidongo, they might be able to control her, though. So you never know.
An animal.
I think they did explicitly say that didn't work on people.
Oh, it
right?
doesn't? Okay. I wasn't sure.
Was that said? I feel like it was. My memory's not.
It might have been said. I just really wanted to be controlled by Thomas so bad.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
Well, maybe if her mind is as empty as it is, it's more like an animal or something.
We have a question, but from the Admiral Peaches, but we should probably go back to that when Steven's back because it's a translation question. Foodgasm agrees with me about the amnesia trope. Does anyone here like the amnesia trope?
I think it's neutral.
Okay.
I mean, I think
done anything yet.
Yeah,
right. I just mean generally what they think.
Yeah, that's why I said
how
it was
long
like
it
my
lasts.
gut reaction was bad, but like I'm actually not judging it yet.
I mean, I kind of criticized like the Sabo one because it felt like such like a lazy way of being like, oh, this is why Sabo wasn't at Marineford. But at the same time, it's like, well, Oda's never used this trope yet, so like he kind of gets like a pass. I think this is the Alex argument here. So, but Now it's like, we'll see what he does now when he uses it again. But there's potential. Like, I'm not going to knock it in the first chapter it's introduced.
This one is from a Jedi with no name, who says, I know this question comes up occasionally, but what is the address to send Oda a question for the SBS? Also, should I send it in Japanese or English? I believe it is a address in Japan, obviously. I believe it's probably a better idea to send it in Japanese if you have that chance, if you can. I wouldn't just use Google Translate, though. I would, try
No.
do any of you guys have that address offhand, or know where we could find that? I guess Kelly, I feel like.
Probably not too hard to Google Shueisha's
Yeah, I'm sure you could
company
just send
address.
it to Shueisha's company address, yeah.
Yeah, and I do
Care of
a few years ago, a bunch of people on AP got a question
And the
in
Reddit.
SBS,
Mm-hmm.
and they did it in Japanese, right? That was
Yeah.
part of it. is
Yes,
that
they did.
I think
And
that
I
would be
think
a
we
good
did the same
move.
thing. I think we sent in a bunch, if I recall correctly. Maybe we'll do that again in the future. Even if we send them in, on people's behalf, I would not bet that those actually get asked, unless they're your typical SBS questions. Okay, let's try for Real Pool, who says, hey guys, I remember Greg and many others predicting Chopper one day getting his own story arc where he shines for his medical prowess. Big Mom has serious hunger and memory-related medical issues. Is this going to be the time where Chopper puts his neck on the line and chooses to treat Big Mom instead of trying to get rid of her?
I don't know.
Doesn't seem like a medical thing to me.
I mean, it would be cool if he figures out a diagnosis for those things and is able to solve her hunger pangs, which I would say is a medical issue.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Therapist
know what
Chopper.
it is. Let's talk about your past. Anyway, I guess maybe he's a psychotherapist. Any other thoughts on that? No. Ed, it's time to
Piece the tweet.
I was afraid you'd forget about Piece the Tweet. Ed,
No,
what do we have this
first one.
week?
First one comes from Ghost Starch, who says, no one has ever escaped Udon because Queen is the warden. I think Queen will fight Kid and Luffy and get defeated, but recover in time for the festival because he is awakened. Also, do you think he or King sent assassins after Zoro for attacking Kyoshiro's men?
We don't know what Queen is, right? Like what we assume ancient Zoan he is. We know
We
King
just know he's
was
kind of
the
Big fat dude.
He certainly has an interesting design.
Yeah, I think that's why people are. I don't know. I remember on a past episode somebody saying Triceratops or Stegosaurus or something that's sort of a bigger, rounder dinosaur would be cool. Or Ankylosaurus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, quadruped.
Barney.
Mm-hmm. Barney.
Oh my god, that would be amazing. I'm just imagining that. Sorry. Go ahead.
Next one comes from Cracker Jakku, who says, I noticed that we didn't see Perispero's right side in chapter 930. Could he have replaced his candy arm with Yonji's winch arm so he could enjoy hot afternoon tea without his arm melting? Yonji was the most disposable of the Vinsmokes, and I doubt they all escaped.
I don't think Oda would be like, and German escaped, except for Yonji. Nobody liked.
Yeah, probably not. Okay. The next one comes from Glue Glue Raptor, who says, do you think Pudding is involved with what happened to Big Mom at the end of the chapter? No, we've already answered that question.
I don't think so. I think
She might be involved in solving it, but she's not responsible for it being there.
Right.
And with the way Pudding was so conflicted during the wedding and all that. Why would they think to bring her?
Yeah.
Also, she's not really a fighter. She's not.
Well, no, there is a reason they'd bring her, because she might be able to read Kaido's poneglyph.
Awaken her third eye powers.
Yeah.
Oh. I'm not gonna get too carried away with that speculation. It's been known to bite us in the ass.
Yeah. Our next one comes from Wes the Fitting, who says, my high school had refrigerated vending machines, and the hot fudge sundae Pop-Tarts came out almost frozen. 10 on 10 would eat cold Pop-Tarts again.
I
That
must
sounds
admit,
good.
I enjoyed your Pop-Tart conversation. It delighted me.
I saw you tweet about that. Thank
It,
you.
Mhm.
it really is amazing. I have not had a Pop-Tart since that discussion.
You're not missing much.
I like
I think the brown
Pop-Tarts.
sugar cinnamon ones are good.
I think the
don't know if
s'more
everybody's
ones
saying
are
they're bad.
amazing.
I think because I've always had a sweet tooth, I did not see the appeal of the brown sugar one. But I think Steven is absolutely right. I think you have to put that one in the toaster.
I don't agree with that either.
I think
Honestly,
most
that's-
of them taste much better in the toaster. The s'more one is the only one I'd be fine just eat. Ed, you remember how much I used to just like eat crap in like
Oh, yeah.
college? I used to just have those.
You
Tell us
eat
more
weird
old
crap,
stories
like-
about you and Ed.
An entire
No,
bag
no.
of Tostitos.
Yeah, I mean I do that sometimes.
A whole box of Pop'ems.
Okay, let's not talk about Entenmann's. They're delicious. Okay, I had a problem and I'm over it. I have not had an Entenmann's in many years. Anyway, go ahead.
All right, next one comes from Yin Tabef, who says, I really hope that Chopper ends up becoming Big Mom's big brother while she has amnesia. Let the reign of Big Chopper begin.
Big
What if
Mom,
it's
Big
like
Bro.
Monster Chopper?
Oh my
Monster
God.
Chopper is Big Mom's friend.
I'm just imagining them skipping through a field of flowers together, Monster Chopper and Big Mom. Oh, that's such a disturbing image. What's next, Jim?
Super Ninja Clone says, next chapter cover has to be Weebs, Vito, and Law arguing over a pile of Sora comics, right?
That's
Hey,
amazing.
We
Tweet it
got to
at
get that
Notice,
request in.
tweet
Yeah.
at Notice Skywalker, see if he's some...
Oh, yeah. That's totally what you should do. I'm
Actually, we
serious.
probably shouldn't have people harass him.
He won't even know what
It's
you should. I
probably-
mean, that's a legitimately good one. Don't harass him unless you have a very good idea.
Everyone
I-
thinks they have a very good idea.
No,
Can we
unless
have
you
Law and Vito at a comic book convention sitting
Yes.
at a panel asking
Oh my
a question?
gosh.
trying to get a signature from Germa, like who
In
are
the
sitting at a
Germa
table.
66 CD-ROM.
But no, sir. What they should do is, if you want Noda to submit something, you just submit it to us, and we say yes or no, and then you tweet it at him and say this is approved.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I think that's a fair way to go. Yeah, then he won't be harassed. There won't be so many.
Yeah, good.
yeah,
Excellent. A chance to make your fans feel bad.
I love it. Any opportunity to do that.
Hey, whenever all of a sudden fans of the Straw Hats start, when the Bartow Club starts like a radio broadcast talking about what's happening to Straw Hat Pirates, that's when I'll start to question how I've spent my life.
What's
And I'm
next?
like, oh god, Oda really is mocking
Snailcast.
us.
Yeah, they send a film crew to go talk to Makino at the bar from where Luffy grew up.
Some people understand that reference because now it's available once again on our Patreon.
Patreon.com/One Piece Podcast to understand that reference, and also Bartolomeo. Seriously.
All right.
I think we had a deleted scene, which we have to probably put up if we don't have it, about Greg and his room, which was literally Bartolomeo was based on, I think. Oda saw OPP Japan.
Are you telling the truth, Zach?
I thought we had a scene where Greg was like giving a tour of his room. I definitely have a video of that.
And that's no bull.
What's next?
Serpentscape says, Big Mom washed up on shore, but where did her kids go? And how will that end up playing into the amnesia subplot if her kids reappear and see her getting buddy-buddy with the Straw Hats?
Oh my
Yeah.
god, it's like my old prediction of Big Mom coming true. And I thought like she would befriend the Straw Hats.
Oh my god, it is.
Years.
That is weird.
Give me the prize.
Okay, next one comes from... what visual modifications do you think Frankie will make to Sanji's raid suit?
Who's this from?
This is from Heavenly Halberd.
Oh, it's Grant.
Oh yeah, Grant.
What? No, that's a different Grant.
Grant
oh.
Baxter.
It says Grant Baxter right there. I would definitely I think they would change the 3 and put in Sanji is cool, man. Sorry. I don't know. I feel like the hair thing is still weird, but maybe that's just me.
We really talk about that the suit makes his hair go like that?
Yeah, I think it's part of the suit. There's like
It's weird,
gel
'cause-
that like spurts out and does
Maybe
like
rid of
when he
Get
puts on
rid
the
of the
headphones, it like pushes down on
Oh.
the hairs and it makes them
pushes
flip up.
on other
Yeah.
hairs. Sure, yeah, okay.
Get rid of all the numbers.
That's how headphones work. My headphones
Yeah,
are doing
I'd
that
be
to
a-
me right now.
I'd be afraid if Sanji was involved in the designing, he'd be replacing
Oh my
the
god.
threes with like hearts and stuff.
No,
I don't know.
Sanji
Nami's face.
Sanji has a very
Or it's like
eclectic style. He's
Yeah.
either
It's like
dressed
a-
really nice or weird, like in what was that film Zed when he was wearing the sweater with a tie or something? I
Oh,
still
yeah.
don't know what
That
that
was
was.
Strong World.
Strong World.
Strong World, yeah.
So
You
maybe
put
like a
it-
utility belt with like cigarettes and
Oh my
cooking
god.
utensils.
You would design it with like the Saitama's Opie sweatshirt.
His name would be Deathman because he kills himself with cigarettes. That's his power.
He does smoke death
well,
brand
how about
cigarettes.
with,
Right,
with
exactly.
the black motif? You could just call him Black Tar.
No, he's
Oh!
Black Lung Sanji.
Black Lung
Black Lung
Sanji.
Sanji!
I love it. I love it. That one's great too. I don't know what we're calling this episode. Okay, Ed.
Black Lung Sanji, the coal miner. Anyway, Puerto Rican guy. That's this Twitter handle. Don't blame me.
Some Puerto Rican guy?
Just
Why
a
would
Puerto
we
Rican
blame
guy
you?
on
You
Twitter.
could be Puerto Rican. Go ahead.
Really? It sounds wrong. Okay. If the
30
red-
Rock, 30 Rock.
Sounds weird just to say it like that.
Yeah.
If the red poneglyph are required to reach the One Piece, isn't now the perfect chance for Blackbeard to attack Totoland? By the end of this arc, Big Mom is going to lose her Emperor status. And maybe Kaido if he gets defeated. Interesting.
That would be interesting.
I mean, we haven't seen too much from Blackbeard lately.
No, and I mean we saw him for the first time recently. So I mean we have seen Blackbeard lately. We just don't. He just seems to be sitting around telling people to do things now. He's kind of the opposite of Luffy.
Yeah.
Like Luffy goes out there and does the thing himself, and Blackbeard's like, I'm too lazy to do the thing. You do the thing. Anyway,
That's Moria.
It does feel like
that's why he wanted Moria to join his crew. They relate.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people think that possibly eventually down the line Blackbeard will come in contact with Shanks, and possibly that will cause like something to happen that makes Luffy especially want to go after him or something. But like it would be interesting if that's actually by the end of this arc they do befriend Big Mom, and Blackbeard messing up Big Mom's territory did actually have that sort of effect of making Luffy want to go after Blackbeard or something.
What's next, Ed?
Okay, next one comes from Benjamin Kelso, who says, I wonder if those ninja are going to somehow help Robin get a power-up. Can help the assassin to learn from assassins. I mean, I feel like a lot of us are assuming that this is going to be a positive interaction, but like we're supposed to assume this is not going to be a positive interaction, and it might that's still the more likely thing, that she just gets captured.
Or she kicks some ass.
That's true.
That would
be nice.
cool.
Or they end up being good guys by the end of the story, not necessarily next chapter.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, and the last one comes from MJC Carto, who says, I won't have a real opinion on whether or not the end of 931 was a good idea until after I see how things play out in this arc.
Absolutely.
I think Big Mom's amnesia will give at least some of the Straw Hats a false sense of security. I also think that later on in the arc, she's going to regain her memories at a time before she can be of major use to the Straw Hats, and it'll be at a time when they're not prepared to face her.
Okay.
I can see that.
Like if they're fighting Kaido and she gets her memories back, like, you son of a bitch, you left me. And then she fights Kaido.
Yeah. Or they're about
this
to
is just like one
sick
more
her on
card.
King, and suddenly she's like, oh, wait, no, I don't like you guys.
Kaido was a bad boyfriend.
Okay, that's gonna do it for Piece the Tweet and Piece Together. So let's round off.
All right.
This has been episode 555 for February 3rd, 2019. One of the only 4 or 5 times, I guess, we've had 3 of the same numbers in our episode number. So cool. Thank you all for coming on today. Thank you, Steve, for doing the art this week. Maddie is off in Japan, and we wish her well. That's really awesome. So make sure to, I guess she's not selling anything anymore, right? At this point?
Our store's closed.
When she gets back, buy her stuff. And support her otherwise. Again, One Piece Podcast goes to Japan on our Patreon, patreon.com/One Piece Podcast. That is for all patrons, no matter 1, 10, 5, 7, 30, 80, $50, any number you could think of. And you can watch One Piece Podcast Goes to Japan, as long as it's an integer. Also, want to mention, if you were in the $10 range, you could see deleted scenes, commentary, and more. We're going to be adding more cool stuff as I find it available from One Piece Podcast Goes to Japan. That's all going to be exclusive to Patreon at patreon.com/One Piece Podcast. You could read the manga free and legal on Manga Plus and shonenjump.viz.com. Don't forget to do that. The next chapter comes out this Friday, February 8th, is it? Now, we are going to be doing a podcast at our normal time. It'll probably be Sunday. I'm going away over the weekend, so it's just not going to happen on Friday. And I think when they come out early, we're probably going to stick with Sunday. So we apologize to you guys out there who I know will really want to hear our thoughts, but we want to keep a somewhat consistent schedule too. So, and it's also hard to schedule people on, let's say, a Friday night. So that's the way it's going to be. Joey, where can people find you?
They can find me on Twitter at Joey Weiser, and this just in, I now have an Instagram.
Ooh.
That's Joey Weiser Comics, gasp, where I've been posting a lot of old and new art and stuff about my comics and stuff. I'm a cartoonist. You can read the Merman series, and upcoming in May, you'll be able to read Ghost Hog, my new graphic novel. May, I don't remember what the date is, but the first Saturday, I think, in May is Free Comic Book Day, and there will be a Ghost Hog free comic book as well. So go out to your comic shops and get that free Ghost Hog comic book. And then I also do a podcast with Alex and our friend Scott called Toho Yaro. That's a Japanese film club podcast. We just did an episode on Yoji Yamada's The Yellow Handkerchief, and we're about to do one on the first Lone Wolf and Cub movie. So check that out if that sounds interesting to you.
Of course. Sam.
They can find me on Twitter at Lucky Chainsaw. They can find me on the One Piece Podcast every week, well, most weeks, doing the anime recaps. And they can find me on AnimeNewsNetwork.com doing the daily streaming reviews for One Piece, Black Clover, and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Golden Wind.
And I think we're not doing the anime recap this week, if you haven't already noticed, so we'll be back next week with a double. But thank you, Sam, for coming on today. Kelly, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Karuri.
Steve, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr. Steve Yurko is the username. My online store is open once again. That's steveyurko.storenvy.com. I also have a TeePublic store, which I should try to update more. I only have one design on there. But if you like Sailor Moon and King of the Hill, you could buy stuff with that on it. Also, listen to me on other podcasts. I host the new podcast, The Deep End, which is a podcast covering every show that's aired on Adult Swim with Cartoons 101's Matthew J. And I am a co-host on Toon Suite, the wrestling entrance theme podcast I do with our good friend Doctor. So check out those shows.
Steve is on a lot of podcasts, but he has a great voice and a great mind, so please listen to him.
Well, heads up. Apparently the wrong microphone recorded me for the next Toon Suite, so I'm going to sound like shit. But thank you, Zach.
Never mind. I take that all back. Thank you, Steve, for coming on the show. Ed, where can people find us?
You're Zach_Logan on Twitter. I am at Edward E. One Piece. I'm also at Weeb Trailers for all of my weird anime trailers that I find on old DVDs. Podcasts can be found at One Piece.
Weird.
Some of them are pretty weird. The podcast can be found at OnePiecePodcast.com, Twitter.com, YouTube.com, and Facebook.com/OnePiecePodcast. OnePiecePodcast@gmail.com is our email address. OnePiecePodcast is our Skype name. r/One Piece Podcast. That is our subreddit. You can leave us some piece together there. And you can subscribe on SoundCloud. You can subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts, or call us on our phone number, Zach.
That phone number is 347-497-MAJI.
MAJI.
That phone number again is 347-497-6254. Call anytime.
Right.
With your nickname for Sanji, whether it be something as creative as Sanji is Cool Man, Black Lung Man, or something not as funny as those two. So, before we go, two things. We're going to do trivia in a second, but before we do trivia, I want to mention our 10th anniversary is coming up this year, May 31st. We're going to have some really cool special announcements, like really huge, cool special announcements, like really, really huge, cool special announcements coming up in the next few weeks. I do want to mention that technically, kind of, not really, but maybe, our 10th anniversary is this Saturday on February 9th, and that is when I opened, I believe it was the blog spot for the One Piece podcast. And if you want a secret little insight as to how early I was thinking of this podcast, you could go to One Piece Podcast. I think it's onepiecePodcast.blogspot.com, and you'll see in February 9th, 2009, our very first post. So that kind of counts, right? So it's not interesting. It is so not
I remember
interesting.
the sample art you made when we were still in college.
Yeah, art is a word for it. So
and here's the hotel room that Ed and Zach stayed on their road trip back from Florida, where they discussed this idea.
He remembers
tell you about the
story.
Applebee's that we ate at in Raleigh.
Oh, I remember that.
You know?
Yeah, that car. So that car is currently in my garage, and the driver's side window will not close. It has been cold here. So let's get into some trivia. Today I'm going to do something different than what we usually do. Because I was reading all of the Reddit questions this week. I did not have time to hastily throw together trivia like I usually do. So we are going to use, and please do not cheat, we are going to use Greg's website, thegrandline.com/onepiece.html to go through some trivia. Now, this has not been updated since volume 55, but we are going to keep that in mind. We are going to do some One Piece timeline trivia. The first person to get 5 of these closest correct, and we're not doing Price is Right rules, so just closest out of each of you guys, will win the Taiyaki for this week. So I'm going to name an event, and this is going to be as of pre-time skip. So you're going to add 2 years to whatever you think this is, because this was as of volume 55. I'm going to ask you how long ago this event took place. All right? It's going to be something that obviously happened in a flashback. You're just guessing a number. So you guys, someone
so from
will
now,
will win.
not from when
one.
Greg made the website.
No, it's going to be too confusing to add 2 years. So it's going to be from the pre-time skip. So you're going to have to subtract 2 years from it.
Sure.
So if something happened 5 years ago from now, it actually happened 3 years ago. Got it?
Okay.
Yeah. So we're gonna give each person a chance to start first. If they don't get it, or actually, no matter what, unless they get it right on the nose, in which case they'll get 2 points. We're gonna go around. So we've done something like this before. So let us start. I'm gonna randomly choose these. So let's see. What is the first?
And we're not taking turns. We just blurted it out, or
no. We're gonna take turns. I'm gonna go around in an order that I have listed. Crocus was born this many years ago before the time skip. So this many years before. You get it. Ed, you're going to start.
Sure. 88.
88. Kelly.
73.
73. Steve.
77.
77. Sam.
130.
You wish. The winner for that round is Kelly. The correct answer is 71.
Okay.
So she's actually exactly. No, you're not out. Sorry, Joey. Sorry.
That's fine.
I didn't write your name down for some reason. That's my bad.
Oh.
What were you gonna guess, Joey?
65.
Okay. Well, you would have. Well, you would have not have gotten it anyway. Kelly
Yeah,
would have
Kelly
stolen.
still wins.
It's just because I saw that clip recently where he introduces himself.
Oh, well, you would have been exactly correct if with the post time skip.
Hmm.
He's exactly 73 today. Kelly, you're next, actually. Let's see. Randomly choosing stuff. Noland came upon on May 21st of this year, Nolan comes upon the surviving descendants of Chandra on the island of Jaya. Now, this is a very approximate. I think this is somewhat approximate year. If you can name the Sea Age year, I will also take that.
Wait, this isn't years ago? This
Years
is the
ago.
year.
This is years ago, but you could also say the
Okay.
year if you want.
Oh, God.
If you get the year correct,
being
I will
confusing,
also
Zach.
give you the point. This many years ago.
This is a disaster.
Kelly, go ahead.
God, what did they say it was like 400 something 400 years ago or something like that?
Kelly got it exactly correct.
Oh, did she?
She did.
I don't know how this game
nice.
works, and I don't
I'm
know how to
having
get it
fun.
correct.
Okay, let's do this.
Yeah, you finally have Joey on another episode who hates trivia, and you're not you're not providing a compelling argument against
This
him.
is the
Steve.
first time I'm doing well.
Steve, you're next. Kaku was born this many years ago.
And this is before the time skip, right?
Yeah, so you subtract 2 from-
23.
Wow, exactly correct. Damn it.
Yeah. I knew it.
I'm doing these randomly. All right, Sam, you get this next one. Who is that? Oh, Negikuma Maria was born this many years ago.
Oh,
Can I be reminded who that is?
No,
the woman
you
who
can't.
looks like the hiking bear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
80.
Okay, Joey,
65.
65. Ed,
69.
that's funny. Kelly,
75.
75. Steve,
57.
and the winner is Steve. The answer is 43.
Oh.
She looks very good for her age. She's still a
Yeah.
young woman.
Yeah,
You're all
okay.
monsters.
Kelly and Steve are tied at 3. Remember, the goal is 5 points. All right, let's see what's next here. Zeph and the Cook Pirates, which I didn't, was that officially what they were called? Enter the Grand Line this many years ago. Joey, you're first.
20.
Okay, Ed,
42.
that's okay. Kelly,
35.
Steve,
How many years ago
how many years ago?
did they enter the Grand Line?
Yep.
Shit. Sorry, I'm trying to do math here. Let's do 14.
Sam.
12.
Sam is our winner for that one. It was 10.
Oh.
Because they just got back to the East Blue when they met Sanji.
Right.
Oh, okay.
How evil should I be here?
Wait, you're not being evil already?
No,
I'm just kidding.
Ed, this one's for you. Let's do Spandam was born this many years ago.
Oh.
This is
27.
not evil. 27. Kelly,
36.
36. Steve,
43.
43. Sam,
29.
29. And Joey,
25.
25. I think. Sorry, you guys are equidistant? No, Kelly, I think, wins this one. 39.
Oh.
Kelly only needs
Yeah.
one more to win.
You guys gave him too much credit. You thought he was a lot. Well, actually,
Yeah.
you gave him a lot of
Yeah,
credit.
these
You guys
characters,
gave
they're
him a
always
lot.
like
That's
way
weird.
older than you think,
You're
or way
absolutely
younger
right.
than you think, or exactly what you might think.
Yeah, I feel like there's a thing where like kids always look older and then adults always look younger. I don't
Yeah,
know.
the middle-aged adults always still look pretty young.
Yeah.
Because Japan thinks
Yeah.
once you turn 25, your life is over. Oh no, I'm not married and I don't have 3 children. Sorry.
I
Not
think
to
they're
No.
worrying too much about that anymore over there.
Okay, let's find a good one here.
I just remember watching an episode of Shin-Chan with Alex like last year, and I'm like, wow, they're really rough on this 26-year-old woman.
Mhm. Oh yeah, man! Old movies are always talking to ladies about how they're too old to get married when they're like.
Kelly,
Still say that to people now.
next question.
Yeah.
Kelly, we're still
Yes.
playing, right?
I'm here.
Okay, Kelly starts this one. This is how many years ago was the estimated start of the use of the Tree of Knowledge as a gigantic library in Ohara?
Boy. I'm going to say 500.
Steve?
Uh, 700.
Sam?
200.
Joey?
100.
Ed?
666.
Our winner is Steve, who's now tied with Kelly. The answer was 5,000.
Oh.
Oh,
Dang.
That's the oldest event listed here.
Wow.
If you're interested, yeah. And I think
thousands of years ago.
all right, here we go. Next one is for, I think this one's Steve starts this one. The dance powder incident transpires in Alabasta this many years ago.
And that's the one. Okay. 2 years ago.
Wow, correct exactly. Steve is our winner.
Man, I didn't think I'd be that good at this.
Yeah, good job.
I am a nerd. It feels nice to be back.
Tayaki for Steve. We will be back next week. Remember, the chapter comes out this Friday, but we'll be back this next week covering chapter 932 and also 871 and 872 of the anime as the Katakuri fight comes to a close. You'll have to wait 1 week for our thoughts on it, but we'll see you then. My name is Zach.
My name is Ed.
And my name is Steve.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Smoke.
Wouldn't he just name it? Sanji is cool. And it would just say it in big letters.
Gives away
on-
his identity, Zach.
No, that would be the joke, Steve.
Who is this Sanji is cool man?
Who is Sanji?
Surely he cannot be Sanji. No one's that self-absorbed.
Guys. I just realized something. I don't think we've ever seen Sanji and Sanji's cool man in the same room.